FYF Sports Menace Lamont, we are back with another podcast reaction video, man. I keep coming across these videos and I have to react to them because a lot of these videos directly connect and tie back into a lot of the conversations that we have on the live streams. It just seems like no matter what the conversation is, no matter what we're talking about, a lot of these conversations always circle back around to none other than LeBron James. And this video is by a guy that a lot of people hate. And I think a lot of people hate this guy because the things that he says about LeBron, especially the things that he says in support of LeBron, can't necessarily be refuted by facts, common sense, or logic. So what a lot of people do is, for those that support LeBron James, they just resort to calling them things like LeBron sexuals, as opposed to coming back with solid evidence or arguments that refute or negate the things that are presented. I got this video from Nick Wright. I'm going to play it for you guys. I want you guys to check it out. But I think it dispels one of the common misconceptions about LeBron James going to Miami. But let's just go ahead and get to the video, and then I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my thoughts on it after it's done.
LeBron James went to the Miami Heat. They had not won a playoff series in 4 years upon his arrival. By year 2, they were champions. LeBron James went back to the Cleveland Cavaliers. They hadn't been to the playoffs in the previous 4 years after his departure. By year 2, they were champions. LeBron James went to the Los Angeles Lakers, who had not played in a playoff game for 6 years. And by year 2, they were champions. This is what LeBron James does.
Okay, so now the reason why I thought that video was interesting, because Nick Wright highlighted some things about the teams that LeBron James has went to. He left the Cavs to go to Miami, and immediately a lot of people said it was a super team. They hadn't seen the Miami Heat play a game. They hadn't seen the LeBron and D-Wade tandem with Bosh. They never knew how it would work. They didn't know what the roster makeup would be, or if even Eric Spoelstra could actually coach this unit as a young coach who was a video coordinator for the Miami Heat. There were so many unknowns, but yet people, without seeing them play a game, basically said, oh, LeBron's going to join a super team, not knowing what this team is even going to look like. It's just very odd, because that kind of ties back into a debate that I had over on Player's Choice when I said that I felt the best duo in the league was KD and Devin Booker. And it's just odd to me. It's just odd to me how people have been so quick to say that KD and D-Book and Bradley Beal are a super team, but yet this is not the best trio or duo in the NBA when you in respect to Booker and KD. But they say that a player in Jokic and Murray, a tandem that's actually won a championship most recently, they are. And so when you use that logic, and when you think about LeBron James, Nick Wright mentioned that LeBron James joined the Miami Heat team that hadn't won a playoff series in 4 years. A lot of people want to lead you to believe that LeBron joined the Miami Heat team that was fresh off that championship from D-Wade's rookie season. Not necessarily the case. D-Wade, really good player, but they were struggling at the time. LeBron gets added to that team. We don't know if the chemistry is going to be there. We don't know if the coaching is going to be there. We don't know what the supporting cast is going to look like. Yet, we say that he left the Cavs to join a super team, a team full of questions. A team full of questions, and nothing had necessarily been answered yet. He leaves the Miami Heat. He goes back to the Cavs. He goes back to a Cav team that was essentially a lottery team. But yet, as soon as he gets there, obviously you still have a young Kyrie Irving. We don't know what Kyrie Irving's going to be. We knew he was a really good young player, but we also knew that LeBron didn't necessarily like playing with young players. They bring in a guy by the name of Kevin Love, but even bringing in Kevin Love via trade, we don't know what this team is going to do necessarily. We had not seen them play a game. They actually have to go get it done. So it's just odd how people pick and choose when to call certain duos super teams or the best duo in the league without seeing them play a game or see them play a full season together. But then in other respects, people then want to call Jokic and Murray the best duo in the league, but only because they won a championship. And so that just leads me to believe, if Jokic and Murray add another all-star player to that team, are they a super team? Is Jokic, Murray, and let's say a Bradley Beal, is that a super team? Truly? Right? Are the Chicago Bulls with 3 all-stars and Vucevic, D. Rose, and Zach LaVine, are they truly a super team? Are they truly a super team? And so it's just the unfair slander that LeBron James has received. Any team that he goes to, people label these teams as super teams. And what I'm starting to believe is that a lot of the LeBron James haters, that fan base that likes to push these hateful narratives, I think there's one common element that they're pushing that I don't think they even know that they're pushing. But they're alluding to the greatness of LeBron James. Every time they say that LeBron James leaves and goes to another team and it's all of a sudden a super team, I think they're without even trying to do so or say so, they're alluding to the greatness of LeBron James. Because no one in their right mind would call a pairing of Bosh and Wade one of the best duos in the NBA. No one in their right mind would call the pairing of Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love one of the best duos in the NBA. No one in their right mind would do that. It's the additive of LeBron James that completely soups up these teams to a degree where they're super. And so I think with a lot of the haters calling these teams super teams, there's really nothing else really super about these teams, because these teams are not packed with superstars. But there's really nothing else super about a lot of the teams that he joins other than himself. I mean, outside of him teaming up with D Wade, he hasn't necessarily teamed up or partnered up with somebody who's considered a superstar in this league. And we can maybe say that about Anthony Davis, but obviously with the injuries, Anthony Davis is now taking a step back. So again, this conversation around LeBron, the fact that he joined super teams, the narrative there, I kind of think it's a lie. I kind of think it's a myth. He hasn't done like Kevin Durant. He hasn't joined a 73-9 team. He hasn't joined a team coming fresh off a championship. It's not like LeBron James left a team and, for example, if he would have left the Lakers and joined the Denver Nuggets and teamed up with Nikola Jokic and Murray, he hasn't necessarily done that in his career. And a lot of the championships that he's won, he's kind of built them from the ground up, because none of them were ready-made. No, we never looked at some of these teams we never looked at this pairing of LeBron and AD in LA and said, oh, this team is going to win the championship. There were always other teams in the mix ahead of them that just looked better. Even when he was in Miami, there was no clear-cut chance that he was always going to win. They lost to Dallas. They lost to San Antonio, and there was a battle there. And even when he went back to Cleveland the second time, there was another formidable four in the West in the Golden State Warriors, who had Steph, Clay, Draymond, and then add the element of Kevin Durant that he had to go up against. So it was never a foregone conclusion that he was going to win anything at any time. And so has LeBron James always been a part of super teams? Is that true? Or is LeBron James the element that makes a lot of these teams super? I want you guys to think about that. But look, it's FYF Sports. It's been another great podcast episode, man. We're going to be back with more sports and news. But until then, it's FYF Sports. We out.
10 a.m. You're still sleeping. I've been up since 6 a.m. Early bird gets the worm, what it is. All these birds, they get curved, what it is. Okay. I don't frown a lot. No. Lately, blessings coming down a lot. They coming down. I see my fam, I can't be down and out. I can't be down and out. Since 17, they tried to knock me down. Don't ever count me out.